Hello and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. In this video I'll be taking you through the paintwork on this Mazda 6, painted in Standox solvent based base coat, colour name Pacific Blue, colour code 25B. So as you can see, the prep work's already been done. I've then masked it up, wiped the wax and grease removing solvent over the whole thing, dried it off, grabbed my tack rag at the same time as the air gun and just blown it off around 3 times over every part of the panel with the tack cloth. So this is our first coat of base coat. With the first coat, all you do is just put the first coat over the primer areas or any part that you may have rubbed through, any repaired areas, as you can start getting your coverage. So quite a big job this one. We put a beaver panel or a back panel onto it, and I've actually got another video if you want to check through how to replicate the factory finish that they have inside the boot floors. Most cars are quite similar. The colour may be a bit different, but the application is the same thing. So we're painting the whole side on it. We're blending this quarter panel for that small repair that was there. I'm also doing a front and rear bumper bar on this job and a tailgate, which I've left most of that footage out just for the reasons of it actually started to get to be quite a long video already without putting that kind of extra footage in. So let me know if it's too long. I noticed this is probably one of my longest videos. It's up to about 13 minutes, but I thought maybe I could just do the clear coat or something. But I thought I'd leave it all together as one video. It gives you a good idea of how these big jobs get done, you know. So as I say, if it gives some feedback, I'm happy to hear your feedback and let me know what you think. If you're getting bored of watching it for too long, just I'm happy to see what you think about, you know, bit of feedback. So what I'm doing here is just my second coat of base coat. Pressure setting would be at approximately 2 bar or 28-29 psi. Nice and close, and open the fan right up and open the fluid needle right up too. So this is DeVilbiss GTI Pro with a HVLP air cap on it. As you can see, they're quite an efficient gun. There's not really too much overspray. Most of that paint is hitting the panel. So to paint this job, I mixed up 1.3 litres on the computer. We've got the tinting bank here, and that then gets thinned down at a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 parts paint and 1 part reducer. So this is our last coat, final coat of base coat. 3 coats on a colour like this is plenty. It is a pale colour, but it still covers quite well. You notice this last coat, you're just going for more of an effect coat. You don't want it on too heavy, or else the pearls and the metallics that's in the colour will not stand up properly. They'll actually lay down. So the best way of explaining the way pearls and metallics work inside the colour is that a metallic is a 2-sided flake, and a pearl is actually got 5 sides to it. So if you put it on too heavy, then it'll actually start to flow with the paint flow, and it will actually not allow that metallic flake to stand up sort of on its side, which is where the light actually catches the eye, and it gives that effect of the metallic and the pearls. So your last coat, you never should put on too heavy, especially metallics and pearls, which is what I'm putting on here, as you can see. Just finalising our last coat now. Put the colour right down the side, right down that pillar. If I'm painting the full side of a car, I generally like to paint the pillar as well. As you can see, that turret rail up there. Find it that way that the whole side is exactly the same colour. Even though this colour was quite good, as you can see, when it'll be out, I've got some footage of it when it's finished off and out the front. My colour went edge to edge on the bonnet to the guard, and the colour is quite good. But this is our first coat of clear coat. I'm using a 3-to-1 clear, which which is 3 parts clear, 1 part hardener, and then up to 10% reducer, which I put 10% in this one. So same spray gun on the clear coat, GTI Pro HVLP air cap on it. I've got a dedicated clear gun, which is a good idea once you start painting more frequently, because if you put the colour through the same gun as the clear and then you do a different colour, which is the next job, sometimes you can get a bit of colour coming through, especially with the metallics and stuff like that. And then if you go to paint a solid colour but clear over base, you may get a little bit of metallic coming through in your clear coat, which is not desirable. So take note here of, I'm actually painting through that quarter panel to the door jamb there. I'm not actually stopping on that line. I always used to paint up to the lines, but then I found that sometimes you can get a big build up there. Not actually a run as such, but they can run, but even just the big build up is enough to not make it look very nice. So our first coat of clear, it's not on 100% wet, it's just enough so that you can't see any of the base coat through this first coat. So this quarter panel over the other side, I am actually not going to paint the whole roof pillar or the turret rail. I'm going to be blending the clear out up the top there, which I'll take you through at the end of this video. I'll actually explain how I do that clear blend up the top there. So I'm just clearing up this pillar up to where my orbital sanding scratches go up to for this first coat. You don't want to go too far.
So for this job, I'm back to the DeVilbiss GTI Pro, and I put the HVLP air cap back on it. Usually for a Mazda like this, I would use the Transtech cap or the conventional air cap, because you've got such a fine peel on them. They're quite peely. But this job, I checked it out, and someone's already painted it before, and it's got a nice thick, nice wet coat on it. So I put the HVLP air cap on it. It's about 35 degrees here in Western Australia today. Beautiful hot day. So I just put my first coat on with medium hardener, and I'm not really going to leave any flash off time by the time I've got back around. That's pretty much right to put my second coat on straight away. So here we go for our second coat.
So obviously, depending on your climate, the flash off times are going to be different. If you're somewhere where it's extremely cold and you've got the spray booth running at 25 degrees, you're going to have to give it an extra 5 minutes in between coats. But even just the car here, as I said, it's a 35 degree day on this day when I painted this car. The panel panel temperature is already quite warm, so it's just going to make that paint dry up straight away. So because I'm so used to painting in the hot temperatures that we have here in WA, I actually like to, even when it does start cooling down, we get the cooler days, I like to warm the booth up to about 29, 30 degrees, just because it can be quite difficult trying to adjust your painting methods to the temperatures. I still remember when I used to work back in Melbourne, every time the winter would come around, you'd start getting runs because the paint's not drying as quick. So you've got to adapt your painting methods as well to the temperature in the different climates. When it's too hot, sometimes you can end up getting a lot of dry spray, and you've really got to hammer the paint on a lot thicker, and it's not gonna, you don't have the chance of it running so much. Whereas when it's cold, it's going to take a lot longer for that paint to dry. So you want some fast hardener in it to speed it up, and yeah, just hold off a little bit because it will flow out. Okay, as you can see, this job's just about coming to an end. here I'm just putting the last coat over this quarter panel, then go over through the other side quarter panel. I'll take you through the clear blend that I'm about to do up on that pillar. I'll take you through that. After that we'll give you a quick look at the vehicle once it's being washed up and once it's out the front. I've also got a couple more links to a couple of different vids I've done at the end of this vid. If you hang around you can check them out. There's a link to a vid which is POV, which is point of view, so that's spray gun in the right, camera in the left. It gives you just a different aspect and different close-up look at spray painting. I've also got the Starter Jet HVLP review and demonstration, so check them out if you want, if you haven't already.
So the way to do our clear blend up this quarter panel pillar here, as you can see, I've my Scotch Brite marks end here. Before I prep this vehicle up, I hand polished this area here, so that's nice and fresh paint. I've then cleared halfway up my Scotch Brite marks. I'll then get some blending reducer in a separate gun and then just spray that over the edge. Get that on nice and wet. We can then give this car a bake out. About 45 minutes we'll bake it for at 60 to 80 degrees. Then we can let it cool down and run the buff over it. Once you run the buff over that, you'd never know there's two separately painted areas.
So this is just a quick look at it before it's baked out. As you can see, it's got quite a nice orange peel to it. Nice and flat, not much dirt in it. Not much work for the detailer to do. And here we've got some footage of the whole car once it's finished off. I painted the boot lid spoiler, I also did the door handles and the front and rear bar and also the tailgate off this car. We didn't touch this side other than this quarter panel. So the owner should be quite happy with this job, and thank you a lot for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.